Hello and welcome to Between the 20s. As three East Coast boys in the Midwest, there's 1 hour time change, which means that if you book an early flight back, get a little confused, forget to set your watch backs, you might wind up somewhere way too early. And we did that today. We've set our watches for it about 6 months because we're talking fantasy football way too early. Way too early. Today we're recapping our way too early running back rankings.
I don't know if you said that. Maybe you should.
It's way too early.
How early?
Very.
Way too.
The number one running back in our rankings is the consensus number one, Christian McCaffrey of the Carolina Panthers, who Bryce says is also the number 10 wide receiver. So that's an interesting choice. But how do you feel about CMC heading into year 3?
DJ Moore, his teammate. Not him.
No, but you said that this year he was the number 10 receiver, if you were counting his receiver points. Right?
He might be.
Yeah, something like that.
I haven't looked, but...
It's like when I would respond with, oh yeah, Lamar Jackson would be the number 8 running back.
Yeah.
And I go, oh no, that's why he's not a quarterback.
He's not a quarterback.
Okay.
Does that mean Christian McCaffrey's not a running back?
He's a running back.
Haters.
I love double standards.
Haterade.
Christian McCaffrey had a year to remember, 2 straight years to remember. He did this with Kyle Allen. I mean, stacking the box.
Yeah.
You could say that was actually a bonus because you drop it down, dunk it off more, but still working with Kyle Allen's a negative for Christian McCaffrey in any respect.
I actually think that there's something that might affect his performance. Luke Kuechly retired. And that means in practice he's not going up against Luke Kuechly anymore. I don't know. That means he's going up against weaker linebackers. Not going to get as he's going to be as strong coming into the linebacker core.
No, he's not going to get worse.
I doubt it. I think Christian McCaffrey is definitely a good bet to be the number 1 running back and potentially the number 10 wide receiver again.
He's going to be awesome, and they have Matt Rule and not Ron Rivera, so they're working with a highly skilled offensive head coach.
Who knows?
How much better can he get, though?
That's fair. He was awesome.
Yeah, $65 million. The Mets hired Carlos Beltran 2 months later. He's gone.
Why was that, Mike?
0 wins, 0 losses.
Why was that, Mike?
For cheating. Who knows what could happen to
What happened to how'd the sale go?
Who knows what could happen to Baylor? We should talk about that. I don't know why we're not talking about that. We're talking way too early stuff.
Because no one cares about
As
the Mets.
opposed to right now stuff.
Because no one cares about the Mets.
Bryce hit me hard. That was a mean comment. Jeez. But no, who knows what could happen with him at Baylor? We get some leaks. Somebody sitting on a trash can on the sideline. Who knows?
At Baylor?
Who knows? Yeah, at Baylor. Number 2 is Saquon Barkley. Interestingly, he was a consensus number 2 despite having an injury-riddled season where he really wasn't able to carry much of the load for the Giants, or at least act like a number 1 clear running back.
This is all based on just his talent. He's just so good. Like, you can just see it. When he played against Week 17 against the Eagles, he took off. He had one play. He knew he was free. 50 yards before he hit the end zone. He knew he was gone.
Wow.
Dude, those last 3 weeks. He got hurt week 3 against the Bucks. Then up through then he was fighting stuff, and then 14, 15, 16.
When he's fully healthy, I think you could argue for him at number 1.
Redskins,
Dolphins.
Dolphins.
He still looked awesome. Right. You can't deny that he looked healthy and great. And their schedule is going to be like that again.
Eagles have a top 5 run defense. Had last year. That's true.
Good thing on that one, folks.
What?
Yards per game?
Yes.
Interesting. I try to come up with a witty comeback to that.
Mike's got nothing.
I got nothing. I have Bryce has Dalvin Cook at number 3 and Ezekiel Elliott at number 4. Amr and I flipped those two.
We got the invert.
Pretty much consensus. But then I think the next guy, very interesting, Alvin Kamara. Definitely a down year for him in New Orleans. Alvin Kamara owners were not very impressed with his performance. But yeah, we still got him in our top 5 here.
Yeah, he missed a couple of games, so he lost some production there, and he also I think he just got unlucky with touchdowns.
Yeah.
He had like it was just a fluky year, I think. I don't know, how many touchdowns did he have? Not a lot. Less than 5, I think.
Under 6, under 7.
Which is like not his game at all. He usually scores several touchdowns. He's a big play guy. And so those will come back. As we all know, touchdowns are all just a lot of it's luck, and so he'll regress back to the mean for touchdowns, and he'll be back. I think he'll be back in his top 7, potentially top 5. I have him at 5 for this upcoming season. So I'm liking Alvin Kamara this year, obviously.
Sorry, I was watching Mike operate his Excel spreadsheet. He thinks he's pretty good at this. It's going pretty slowly. Just saying.
Alvin Kamara had
3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns.
So there is some positive regression to come. That's going to be a theme here with some of these running backs. It's a pass-heavy league now, so it's not surprising that running back touchdowns were down. Kamara's a receiver as well.
Yeah.
I don't really understand what's going on or what happened this past year. He'll come back. It's fine.
All right, I'm very confident on his comeback here.
You agree?
I agree.
You got him at 5, so you have him higher than Bryce. Does,
I agree.
So.
I do have him higher than Bryce. We have Nick Chubb and Derrick Henry in our next two spots.
Yep.
I think, I don't know, these are, Derrick Henry, he's very good in the playoffs. I don't know how trustworthy it could be of him throughout a full season. Seems to be one of those high variance guys
What?
from week to week.
He's just straight.
He led
volume.
the NFL in rushing yards this season.
Not in
He
the
did? I
first
thought it was
4
Chubb.
weeks.
No.
Henry eclipsed him?
Henry, yeah, in the last game, he took like 220
Was it not
in
Lamar
like 2
Jackson?
scores against Houston. Derrick Henry,
Nick Chubb led the league.
Is-
Derrick Henry was freaking third.
that's wrong.
You're talking about rushing yards?
Rushing yards.
Rushing yards.
Rushing yards. He led the league in rushing yards. Derrick Henry's just so good. I guess the only knock on him is he doesn't catch passes, but when you rush for 1,400 yards or whatever insane number it was, I think he's locked in number one, running back. Excuse me, running back 1 for me. I like him more than Chubb just because you know what you're gonna get. This Browns offense has a lot of change on it, so I don't know. I like Derrick Henry a lot. He's solid.
Derrick Henry's good. As you guys know, I was very down on him at the beginning of the year. That was a miss for me. I accept that.
Yeah.
I still like Nick Chubb a little bit more. Nick Chubb, I think, is a better
Derrick
running
Henry's the
back.
number 1 rusher.
Nick Chubb, I think, is just a little more explosive.
I
Derrick
take back
Henry.
what I said about variance.
Yeah, good.
Derrick Henry's a big body guy, so he might. He took some wear and tear this year. Played in the playoffs for the first time. He might be slow out of the gate. I don't know. I just think Nick Chubb is a dynamic running back playing now without Freddie Kitchens.
I think Derrick Henry without the reason he was not so great at the beginning of the season was he was good, but that was because they had Marcus Mariota in.
That's
As
fair.
soon as they
That's
slid in
totally
Ryan
fair.
Tannehill, although Tannehill's a free agent, I expect him to re-sign. They made it to the AFC Championship game with Ryan Tannehill. No reason why they wouldn't bring him back. So I think
Well, there's no reason other teams wouldn't want Ryan Tannehill as well.
why would anyone want Ryan Tannehill?
Because
did
he
not-
led them
didn't
to the
sh-
AFC
But he didn't show them
Championship
that he
game.
wasn't that good.
The Titans are not going to let him go. He's
That's like
he's a starting
saying-
quarterback.
That's like saying
Look, he could be a starting quarterback
He's a starting
elsewhere.
quarterback.
Yeah, but he could be a starting quarterback elsewhere. He's on the carousel as far as I'm concerned.
No, he's not.
Yes, he
think
is.
he
No, he's not.
Yes, he
I don't
is.
think
No, he's not. The Titans aren't losing 2 quarterbacks this offseason.
That's true.
Boys, if
It-
Ryan Tannehill is not on the Titans, I'm going to laugh so hard, Norman. So hard.
Great, you'll be 1 in a million.
So hard.
And Derrick Henry, great player. I think he's safe. That he's like an old school
Yeah.
guy, big running
Then
back.
why
can
isn't he
take some
higher?
people. What do you mean?
Because
passing
it's not just
upside?
about, it's not
I
just
don't-
about
No,
safety.
what are you
There's-
talking?
there's-
No
Because
passing
I
upside?
don't think he.
Well,
yeah,
sure, no
that's-
passing
that's a
upside.
big
This is
thing.
half PPR rankings.
I'm expecting Kamara to come back, and if he does, then he'll be that 5th spot after that top 4. Because I think that's a pretty undisputable top 4. We all agree. So I got Derrick.
Especially after the year Cook had. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll take the injury risk.
And they're keeping the mastermind behind that offense. What's his name? Gary Kubiak. He's
Yep.
the offensive coordinator.
Just
so.
Stefanski left.
And next we have the number 2 fantasy running back this year, Aaron Jones at 8.
Yeah, Aaron Jones. He's a candidate for regression this year. He had a ton of touchdowns. I think definitely above 15. Can we check that stat guy?
No, he did. He
Sure.
did. He did.
I
don't
think
know
it was
the number, but
close
a lot.
to 20. And you see, he
I'm
had
talking rushing or total touchdowns?
total. He
Yeah,
had
total touchdowns, he had way more.
a ton of touchdowns. Which is, I mean, he wasn't a Pro Bowler,
16
so he's a little bit
touchdowns.
angry about that. But I mean,
That's 16.
he's playing on a good offense.
16 rushing and 3 passing? Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
Playing on a good offense, yeah, almost 20 touchdowns. And that's great, but I don't think that he's going to get that kind of. He's not going to be that lucky again. The Packers aren't really going to be on the 1 yard line like that as much as they were this year. I remember a game against the Cowboys. He had like 3 of his touchdowns were just punch-ins from the 1 yard line. It's good that he's getting the goal line work, but I don't see him getting 20 touchdowns again. That's most likely going to regress. So that's why I don't have him as high as some of these other guys we've been talking about.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm a huge Aaron Jones guy. I actually only have him at 7. That's because he is a boom bust kind of guy. Depending on the Packers are so game script dependent, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And with Aaron Rodgers, he could always throw. But for me, Aaron Jones might be the 3rd most dynamic running back in football, just in terms of like talent.
Grab some popcorn and sit back.
I don't know. I think
I'm not going to go on a rant here. I just think he's awesome.
Disagree,
This is a warranted
okay.
rant.
I'm actually strongly disagreeing, but anyway, keep going.
All right.
I think Aaron Jones is invaluable to this offense. I think he's due for another big year. Sure, he might regress a little bit, Jamal Williams is coming off an injury at the end of the year. Who knows what he's going to look like at camp because this is fairly early.
Way too early, some might say.
I like Aaron Jones a lot, and if you're taking him as your RB1, it's pretty good.
Third? No.
I think he's a first-round pick without a shot of a doubt.
Yeah.
Third best talent?
Yeah.
I said most dynamic, not
third
talent.
most dynamic.
That's athleticism, dynamic.
Who's behind him and who's ahead?
The only ones ahead of him are Saquon and McCaffrey. What they do, it's unbelievable.
I think Alvin Kamara's up there. Dalvin Cook's up
Derrick
there.
Henry
Dalvin Cook
as a 6'2" back that runs
He's
like
not
that.
dynamic.
My
He doesn't have
God,
moves. He's not dynamic. He's downhill.
He's not very
He's got
agile.
no pass catching.
He's not agile.
he's a beast.
But
That's
not
dynamic.
dynamic.
But it is dynamic.
No,
It
it's
is
a power
to
rusher.
have
So what?
a
Vince
6 foot
Wilfork
guy
at
who runs that
340
fast.
pounds
No,
is
but he's a
What
dynamic.
run
about
that
Brandon
fast.
Jacobs? He was those measures.
He wasn't as fast as Derrick Henry. That's what makes Derrick Henry
Aaron
so
Jones,
dynamic.
Aaron Jones is shifty. He's got a little Le'Veon Bell in him. He's got a little.
Oh, that's a hot take.
Oh my.
Bell
He's
is
shifty.
prime.
He's shifty. I like Aaron Jones a lot in this offense.
Shifty. Rounding out our top 10, we have Melvin Gordon and Leonard Fournette. Melvin Gordon obviously was suspended for the first 4 games of the year. It was so long ago. Suspended, hurt?
held
Oh, that's
out.
right. He held out.
Sat out.
He sat out.
Voluntarily sat out.
First 8? First how long?
First 4.
First 4. Jeez, this has
First 4.
been a long time. It's way too late to talk about the beginning of the 2019 season.
Good one brought it up.
And way too early to talk about the start of 2020.
Disagree.
So yeah, Melvin Gordon was out. We all have him ranked 10 except for Amir Roseman at 9. Pretty consensus there. And then last is Leonard Fournette, who Amir has at 14, which is 5 spots behind Bryce and I.
Yeah, I have him at 14 just because he's had a tough year. I understand his touchdowns were down, but I just don't think the Jags offense is that good. They were horrible, and I don't see anything changing this year. Last year,
They're playing in London now twice.
Even better. They're playing more away games. Great. I just don't see any. They didn't add anyone. They didn't have any coach staff changes. They still got Doug Marrone. I don't know why.
That was
what's
I
he
don't
doing.
know.
Nick Foles. Who's the starter? Nick Foles, Gardner Minshew.
Oh, it's Minshew.
Doesn't matter who it is. They're both obviously haven't shown to be too great. I just don't really trust the Jags as a team, so I'm not a huge fan of Fournette. I got a couple guys like Chris Carson, Joe Mixon, Josh
You
Jacobs
say Joe Mixon, I just
ahead
winced.
of Leonard Fournette.
I just winced.
That's because you took him this year.
First 10 weeks, Joe Mixon was
But
just...
he
I know.
finished, he
Yeah,
finished
I know,
very
I
well.
know.
Where did he
I know.
finish? Where did he finish, that guy? What's
Where
up?
he finished, Stat Guy. Stat Guy will figure it out for you. Stat Guy is...
Bryce, what do you think of Fournette?
Look, he's a volume guy.
Joe Mixon finished 15.
He's a lot like Derek. He's finished behind Miles Sanders.
This is true.
Miles Sanders is a breakout candidate this year.
I like Leonard Fournette. He's a volume guy if he can stay healthy. Injuries have been a little bit of a concern. He's going to get 20 touches a game, and he'll find the end zone more frequently than he should. I do want to talk about Melvin Gordon, though, because the prevailing theory here is that he's going to leave the Chargers. He's obviously unhappy in Los
I don't know.
Angeles.
I've heard some reports that he wants to re-sign. I don't know how truthful these reports are, and
Honestly,
holding out didn't seem too good, but
if I'm the
We don't know.
Chargers, I'm not even going to approach him because he's going to want $10 million. I'm not going to give him that when I have Austin Eckler back there. And let's assume Melvin Gordon leaves. Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler are both inside the top 12, without a shadow of a doubt.
I agree with that. The thing about Eckler is he has actually a bit of a higher injury risk. He's been injured in the past, and with a bigger workload, I think there's a chance he gets hurt.
You never know, and he is smaller as a running back.
Yeah,
he's only
he's-
5'6", 5'7".
Yeah.
He's a lot like Tariq Cohen
Yep.
in that stature. But, I mean, through the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, until Melvin Gordon came back, he was in the top 3 running backs.
Yeah, and shows that he's extremely explosive and he's a great running back, but in a great offense. But I don't really know where the Chargers are going.
I've actually
They're
heard from
getting rid
sources
of
that they're
quarterback.
going to go with Eckler as a starter. They're going to let
Gordon walk.
Let Gordon walk. Eckler as a starter, and then bring in either Danny Woodhead or Darren Sproles to be the pass catching third
Well,
down.
Darren
running
Sproles
back.
retired.
But
And
I
Danny
feel
Woodhead
like
hasn't
it
been in
could
the
happen.
league for
I
like
feel like
4 years.
I feel like that's the Charger move.
Yeah.
The
Why?
more Chargers move is going out to draft Justin Herbert in April.
They gotta get a quarterback. Might sign Tom Brady.
And then they're going to put Antonio Gates back at tight end as well.
Yeah, so they're running it back.
Throwback squad.
Back to when they didn't make the playoffs.
Philip Rivers, you back.
So back to when they didn't make the playoffs.
You're back.
To do it again. Cool.
And that's the end of our running back show. I hope you're well prepared for your draft in August. If you're drafting in July, that's also way too early of a draft.
That's true.
But Until then, we've been Between the 20s. Keep an eye out for our wide receiver video
Yep.
that will be coming at you way too early.